Sedona, Arizona, a land of towering red rock formations, endless blue skies, and trails that promise adventure at every turn. Known as a haven for outdoor enthusiasts, this desert oasis is a melting pot of spirituality, recreation, and rugged exploration. For overlanders, Sedona offers a perfect blend of challenge and reward. Our route, the Sedona Backcountry Trail, promised to take us away from the crowds and into the heart of the wilderness. But sometimes, even the best laid plans hit a roadblock, literally. We started our journey bright and early in Sedona, eager to tackle the famed Schnebly Hill Road. With breathtaking views and the promise of dispersed camping ahead, this was supposed to be the start of an epic overlanding adventure. We're about to embark on the Sedona Backcountry Trail. It's a grand loop that traverses all through these red rocks, giving you stunning views, incredible vistas and campsites, and it has some pretty cool stuff to see along the way. This is going to be my first time doing it, so I'm excited to see what we find. Our first obstacle here is Schnebly Hill Road. It's a pretty popular Jeep track, 4x4 trail, and it should be pretty fun. So let's get to it. Well, Sedona is famous for these pink Jeep tours, and this trail is very popular with them. So most of the other cars I'm seeing so far are these pink Jeeps driving around taking tours, and I gotta say, it's probably one of the most fun jobs I could imagine having, is just an off-road tour guide. From merry-go-round rock to the sweeping vistas at Schnebly Hill Overlook, the trail did not disappoint. The red rock mesas stretched endlessly into the horizon, a reminder of just how vast and beautiful this land truly is. This is a 91 FJ75 troop carrier. Yeah. Oh, and my adventure buddy. Yeah. It's a 91. They never sold the FJ75 in America. This one came from Kuwait. Oh, yeah, definitely. No way. Oh, you want a sticker? Yeah. Yeah, go for it. Thank you so much. It's been a labor of love. This is Bandit. Yeah.
You see this thing coming, man. She's sexy as hell.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah, you guys have a great trip.
What do you tell me, man? This thing's a 75?
Yeah.
Dude, that thing's sweet.
Thank you so much. Yeah, troopy.
Is it a diesel?
No, this is a gasser. It came from Kuwait, so it's got the inline 6 in it.
Sweet.
Yeah, 5-speed.
No safety gland.
No, nothing.
Old school, man.
Yeah, old school. No, they sure don't. You guys have a great trip.
Well, it's actually been really funny with all the pink Jeep tours on this trail. I feel like the landcruiser ambassador. Just about everyone I pass is stopping to ask me what my rig is, saying just how cool it looks, and all of the tourists in the back are getting a real kick out of it, and that's been really fun. The trail is getting good. We've had a few flat sections, not many, and it looks like we're just about to start the climb, so let's see what we can get up to here. I gotta tell you, Sedona and these Jeep tours must just attract the nicest folks. We stopped at this little pullout so I could let Bandit stretch his legs, and we're only 3 miles into the trail. We've got about 9 miles to go until we're able to find camp. And a couple of pink Jeeps pulled in. This is their turnaround point, I guess, for one of the tours, and we ended up spending about 15 minutes talking about the truck and the trip and the Pan American Highway, and they got Troopy stickers, and it was just so fun. And that is the kind of stuff that I really love. Getting to meet people out on the trail, getting to talk shop. Really, really a great time. And Bandit got a lot of loving from him, so you know he's happy about that. We're gonna hit the trail again. 9 more miles to go, and then we're gonna work to find camp. So let's see what we get into. I just can't even get over the beautiful scenery out here. You're gonna get sick of hearing me say it, but this is just about as gorgeous as it gets in my book. Red rocks, green juniper, pinyon pines. Just incredible landscape. This is why we do it. Scenes like that, it makes it all worth it. I gotta be honest with you, it feels like the majority of this trail is just one big rock garden. We are bouncing, bumping, dodging, and diving our whole way up this hill climb. It's pretty fun. It's not Bandit's favorite thing, the rock garden sections, but that is just more incentive for me to pick a good line, to try to keep him feeling as stable as possible. He does pretty good letting his body roll, holding on, but I like to make it as comfortable as possible for him. And I hope, or I like to think, that he appreciates it. Yeah, isn't that right, bud? What do you think, bud? You happy to be on flat ground? Well, we have made it to our camp spot for tonight. We are a little ways over the top of Schnebly Hill before we get to the I-17 in this nice open dispersed camping area, but just surrounded by this beautiful forest, giving us some shade. There's a breeze blowing through. The temperature feels really nice here. It's about 4 o'clock almost, coming up on 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I know Bandit's happy to be out of the truck, out of those rock gardens. I think we might walk around and explore a little bit, and then we'll start thinking about an evening at camp. even with all the rocking and rolling we did on that trail, things are holding together. Everything stayed put, didn't hardly move around at all. That is a really good sign. There's just something that I really love about pine forests. I don't know what it is, but it's probably one of my favorite types of places to be. These desert Southwest pine forests just have something special to them, I feel like. Oh, stay out of the mud, bud. This area on top of Schnebly Hill has little side roads that just go on forever. Tons of camping options back here. So even on a busy weekend, I imagine you'd have no problems finding a good place to camp. But today, on a Wednesday, feels like we're the only ones out here. We saw one other car camped on the other side of the road. But walking back here, there's no one but us. I don't mind that. This really is one of my favorite things. After a long day of driving to get from the East Valley of Phoenix up to Sedona, and then a good amount of time on the trail to climb up Schnebly Hill, it is nice to get to camp early, have a little bit of daylight left, just be able to walk around, stretch our legs a little bit. We're not going to do anything crazy, but a mile and a half is a really nice way to kill some time for both me and Bandit. He is going to sleep like a rock tonight. You know, I sort of think of this like Bandit's reward for putting up with all the time in the car on the highway and on the trail. I know he doesn't hate it, but I also know he doesn't love it. And I think what he really does love is being out here and getting to explore all the new smells, all of the new sights. I think this really is his happy place. Well, folks, we've got a problem. Luckily, it's not troopy related. It's tech related. My cell phone is no longer charging. I'm at 20% battery life. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I've tried every combination of cords and plugs. I turned the inverter on. I charged it with the standard Apple charger. I've tried both of my 12 volt USB outlets with their cords. These are nice Anchor multi endpoint cords. I've got 2 of those ports. I tried both of them. I think the lightning charging port might be dead. It's not dirty. I have used a couple of different things to clean it out. I folded up some piece of cardstock into a sharp point to get it in there to the lightning connector. Because, you know, sometimes charging gets difficult if there's lint or debris from your pocket up in there. I also used the bristles on my little hand broom to get up in there. And no luck. So, this is another lesson. Paper maps are incredibly valuable tools for when technology stops working. I don't have paper maps for this route. So I've got the GPX file in Gaia, which means I can, I guess, access it on my laptop. But the other bright spot here is that the end of this Forest Service road is Highway I-17 in Arizona that runs all the way up to Flagstaff. So maybe there's an option to, on the cheap end, buy an Apple wireless charger that I can plug in, and I'm hoping that it's not an issue with the battery itself, that I'll still be able to use the wireless charging. And I guess the more expensive option is that I finally have to replace my old trusty iPhone 12. This is a Trader Joe's buffalo chicken wrap. it's a pretty cost-effective and super delicious on-the-go meal. So I like to keep a couple of these in the fridge because, first of all, you know how much I love wraps. Put anything inside a tortilla and it instantly gets like 10 times better. But they make great quick side-of-the-road lunches when you're in the middle of a trail. A great quick dinner here when I just need to get something in me. So, nothing fancy, but it'll get the job done. And it comes with a little bit of blue cheese dressing, which I realize is hit or miss for some people, but I personally like it.
Well, good morning. It got cold last night, probably down into the 40s, which was both a nice reprieve and a bit of a shock to the system after our time in Baja, where overnight lows were in the high 70s or the 80s even, and it was hard to sleep because it was so warm. So I'm not complaining about the fact that it got chilly. I'll take a cold night over a hot night any day, I think. Plus I've got my little space heater Bandit. Now my plan for today had been to stay on dirt, to cross the highway to the east side for a trail system that would loop us all the way back around to Kachina Village, where we would cross the highway again and continue on even more dirt. Unfortunately, because my phone is broken, the lightning port is no longer accepting a charge, we're going to scrap that plan. Hopefully not for good. Hopefully we can just take a little bit of time this morning, hit the pavement up to Flagstaff, Arizona, and find a wireless charger. I hope that if I can spend 20 or 40 bucks on a wireless charger, that will work to keep this phone alive, because I do not want to spend 800 or 1,000 bucks, whatever they cost nowadays, on a new phone. So I think we'll move pretty quick here to pack the truck up and start logging some miles.
Well, we've got ourselves a fresh problem. After $54 and a trip to Target, I've got a wireless charger for my phone, so that problem should be solved. But after checking out and walking back out to the truck, there is a pool of gasoline on the asphalt underneath the truck. I stuck my head under there to try to see if I could figure out what's leaking, and it's not any of the connections. All of the hoses are dry, all of the hose clamps are dry. Between, what I was worried about was the long range tank, the auxiliary fuel tank to the main tank, the pump, it's not that. It's actually coming from my main fuel tank. Let me show you. Now, this is obviously a pretty significant problem, and I am not sure what I'm gonna do. We're in Flagstaff. It's a big town. I gotta get on the phone and start doing some research. Well, we're sitting here in the Troopy in the parking lot of the dog park in town because I just let Bandit run around a whole bunch, and I've been doing a ton of research. And from what I can surmise, my best guess is that I've got a cracked fuel tank. I don't think that it's as simple as a gasket or something like that, simply because of the amount of fuel that I saw when my tank was 100% full. The way this fuel system works is that the gas tank vents via a charcoal canister, and those canisters can get clogged, which causes excess pressure to build up. And I should have understood this better sooner, because after I got the auxiliary fuel tank installed, I've noticed a couple of times now when the temperatures get really warm or when I'm climbing hills gaining significant elevation, every once in a while I've heard a loud pop. It doesn't happen every time, it's pretty sporadic, and it's only happened a few times, but the pop sounds like, you guessed it, pressure building up. That should have been an indication that there's a problem worth looking into, but I've just been running with it. And I have also been smelling more fuel from the driver's seat, and I thought maybe it was from the bowl in the car or an exhaust issue or something. But when I put all of these pieces together, my guess is that I've got a charcoal canister that is clogged, that has caused excess pressure to build up, and it's happened enough where what maybe initially was just a pinhole that was letting fumes escape now is a fairly significant crack, and it's just reared its head. But on the bright side, what I have also found is that people have had this issue and they have continued to drive and not had a problem. I do think that the leak is getting better. We're at about 3/4 of a tank now, and I'm no longer leaving puddles behind on the asphalt, but it still is a big concern for me. On the one hand, gas evaporates very quickly. It's dripping from the tank down the frame rail straight onto the asphalt. There's very limited risk of a spark ignition or something like that, but that risk is still there. And the last thing I want to do is try to keep driving and have the cruiser go up in flames. That would be bad. So it's definitely an issue I'm going to fix, but instead of doing it here with just whatever mechanic I can find, I think my plan is to get home. That way, if it is a big problem that I'm not able to resolve on my own, I have Valley Hybrids right there in Stockton, and I know George and his crew will get me right, but I think this is a problem that I can probably handle. Drain the fuel tank, drop the fuel tank, inspect it. I don't think it's a repairable thing, even with JB Weld or some petroleum resistant goop that I could throw on there. I don't think I feel good about that long term. So then it becomes a question of, can I source a fuel tank? I'll need to get on Partsook and do some research. I'll need to get on the forums, see what I can find. So unfortunately, I think that this is the end of the Sedona Backcountry Trail for us. We only got to scratch the surface of what it has to offer, and I know we'll be back. But given that we're only 10 hours on highways away from home, and that we have a problem with a pretty important system in the truck, I think it just makes sense that we beeline it for safety and for home and get this resolved before we hit the trails again. Thank you so much for being here. If you like what I'm doing, it is a huge help to give these videos that thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already, and stick around because we'll get this issue tackled and then there's a lot more in store. Until next time, get out and explore somewhere.